Currently, about 80% of our wetlands have been encroached upon, and this is mainly because of the expansion of urbanization.
About 60 to 70% start building without even going to authority.
I'm happy with the KMMO already, and I like his action and the vibe he's bringing on board already with regards to decongestion and making sure that unapproved structures leave the areas that they are not expected to be.
Remember, this is not the first time government has resolved to pull down structures.
The major contributor, and I can say 80% of the contribution of floods in Ashanti region, and then precise in Kumasi, is indiscriminate dumping of refuse, building in waterways. We don't even have storm drains.
Amount for so how to tour land in where they feel it has said yeah bia is on where they yiwa yeah Ghana for open food and say dieko.
One major issue leaving communities in despair is flooding. Almost all the cities in Ghana face this challenge. In Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital, flooding is a frequent occurrence. After nearly every downpour, parts of the city are submerged in floodwaters. The Aunoka Junction area in particular remains a significant challenge, as just a few minutes of rainfall can inundate the area.
Amount for so how to tour land in where they feel it.
People have bought lands and began to fill it with sand, causing the water to become choked and unable to flow freely. This results in annual flooding, and the authorities are fully aware of the problem.
When it rains heavily, this filling station here, where I'm sitting, as well as the main road, always gets flooded. My goods often float on water, and I have to chase after and salvage them.
The causes of flooding in Ghana are complex and stem from both natural and human-related factors. According to the Water Resources Commission in the Ashanti region, encroachment is one of the key factors worsening the flooding situation in Aunoka Junction.
First of all,
Abena Dufie Wiredu Bremang is the Deputy Director in charge of the Water Management Department.
what we think is the problem is, one, encroachment, because we have a lot of people that are living or doing other activities very close to the Abuabu stream. And that is one of the main reasons why we get a lot of flooding in that area, because they have covered all the areas that are supposed to soak flood waters before they join the mainstream.
Kwame Ofori-Ajiman, the District Meteorological Officer for Kumasi, believes that the volume of rainfall received in the city should not lead to flooding if not for human activities.
This year we are expecting averagely normal rainfall as compared to that of last year and then to the long term.
So people should not be scared of floods.
People should be scared of floods. Fatal, you and I are sitting here. We've not actually discarded the discussion about floods for the past 4 years. Why? Because when you do estimates, when you do comparisons, the amount of rainfall we receive in Kumasi and Ashanti region shouldn't have been the one to cause floods. Reason being that when you take an amount of 40 millimeters of rainfall, that 40 millimeters of rainfall isn't that huge to cause floods, but there's a problem.
What's the problem?
The problem is how we are managing our terrains, how we are managing our environment has always been a major contributor of the floods.
Many water channels around the Abuabu stream, which runs through Aunoka Junction, have been obstructed by squatters and private developers. These buildings are situated deep in water, but documents from the Oforiko Municipal Assembly show that these structures have been authorized. Although officials are not willing to comment publicly, reports suggest that the developers have been hesitant over the past few years to construct a drainage system to manage floodwaters. As a result, the surrounding area remains vulnerable to flooding.
Before you can put up a building.
Dr. Yaw Owusu, the Kumasi Metropolitan Engineer, notes that about 60 to 70% of developers begin construction without the necessary permits from the authorities.
Even when you are doing your setting out, the waste department or the authority or the engineers must be aware so that your setback and everything will be conformed to the standard. But as I said, about 60 to 70% start building without even going to authority. They will start building unless you change them to move around before even the person will come and do.
Professor Treboatin, an environmental expert and lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, believes that climate change could also be partly responsible for the persistent flooding.
Now, climate change is something that is happening everywhere. So, from that perspective, we should expect that you'll be receiving more flooding in the cities. The second set of factors also have to do with the area that is receiving the rainfall, how well it is prepared to receive the rainfall. So for a city like Kumasi, which is ever expanding, you realize that the amount of rains that were being received in the catchment areas previously would have percolated into the soil because there were no buildings. Now there are buildings everywhere. And so you collect the water on the roofs and even on the compound, everywhere is paved and tiled. So all the water that is collected in the average house is channeled into a gutter that runs out of the house. And where is the water going? So all these pools of water will now combine, and our drainage system is not designed to be able to contain all the water. And therefore you begin to see flooding.
According to data from the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, the country is projected to lose over $160 million annually due to flooding. At Aulaga Junction, many of the drains appear too small to handle the large volumes of water that flow through the area after each downpour. Environmental and safety specialist Nana Opoku Amankwa argues that given the area's topography, proper drainage systems should have been established to manage the floodwaters.
On this very particular site, the only drainage I'm seeing, and I'm probably going to measure it to check exactly what the standard is supposed to be. That area, you can see from just looking at it that it's not enough. It's not enough because once it's come to this area, they've opened it up, and then you can see another afterthought of an entry point that the rain is supposed to go. For me, an area like this where you are going to see rain that's going to come, overflow or river that's going to be collected over here, we should be seeing bigger drainage systems, whether it's underground, it's covered or not covered, but we should be seeing bigger gutters that are collecting the rains from various sites that are going into the drainage system.
In Ghana, flooding has become a recurrent issue in both rural and urban areas. In recent years, the level of destruction caused by flooding has increased, prompting serious attention from both the government and relief organizations. In 2018, more than 200 slum dwellers along the Abuabu stream were left stranded as their wooden structures were battered by heavy floods. Nearly 8 years later, even more structures have been erected along the river. Inappropriate disposal of waste is also a major concern for local residents.
The authorities know the root cause of this issue. The water flows from Moshizongo and often carries large objects, including old fridges, which contribute to the flood.
Some people in the Abuabu area dump all kinds of waste into this large drain, causing the water to become choked.
Many of the experts agree with these sentiments.
Agriculture-wise, farmers are expecting rains, but the citizenry in towns and cities, some of them are expecting rains. Why? Because they want to have a way to channel their refuse by dumping them into, unknowingly, they don't even know that it's going to choke the gutters.
Even just around my office here, the WAEC, the boundary between the KM and Asokwale Municipal, the drain there. Every month, KM do the certain of the course, and within 2 weeks, the place is filled again. People are putting rubbers, people are putting the old fridges and those kind of things. And you see, they do it in the night. So on that particular thing, it can only stop when we change our attitude.
The Water Resources Commission explains that public education is crucial in addressing the flooding situation.
When people see the channels, they see them as big gutters. It loses the essence of a stream or a river. So most of the people around don't even know that it's still a river or a stream. So that is the problem. So awareness creation needs to be continuous to let people know that it is actually a river and not a big gutter for people to throw rubbish in it.
The Ashanti Regional Director of NADMO, Mohammed Nasir Ibrahim, states that measures have been taken to prevent flooding within the city.
So this year, we are hoping and praying that we get the necessary support to clear the streams and gutters to even prevent the flooding.
To mitigate the effects of
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakohene, urges all metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives to ensure that unapproved structures are demolished to reduce flooding in the region.
I'm happy with the KMMO already, and I like this action and the vibe he's bringing on board already with regards to decongestion and making sure that unapproved structures leave the areas that they are not expected to be. So I have confidence that once I now have a mayor for the metro, he will take that initiative and make sure that he enforces it. Same applies to the other DCs and MCs we are yet to appoint.
However, Professor Trebotten believes that achieving this goal seems unlikely.
It's one of the things we can do, but remember, this is not the first time government has resolved to pull down structures. So the question we want to ask is why did the previous attempts, or the previous attempts and pronouncements, why were they not able to carry it to the later? So it's an intention, but as to whether we can do it is another thing.
Flooding remains a significant challenge for Aunaka Junction and many other parts of the city. Unless decisive action is taken, this situation may continue to devastate homes and take lives year after year, even under the watch of the authorities. For Orange FM, I'm Fatao Bayaga, Aunaka Junction.